Our weed of the week is one of our favorites. It's Roundup resistant mare's tail.
Well, mare's tail, you just have to think about it as Roundup resistant. Even if not 100% of the mare's tail in the country is Roundup resistant, quite a bit of it is. And if you're just using Roundup to control mare's tail, it's only a matter of time until the mare's tail on your farm and in your area is Roundup resistant. So this year, when we didn't get a lot of tillage done last fall, we're going to have to rely on chemical means of control for quite a bit of the mare's tail.
Well, it's a big issue because mare's tail typically is a winter annual, and if you do fall tillage and you knock it out right away, no problem. But if you wait until spring, and especially if you have a late spring like some people will in the northern part of our country this year, that mare's tail can get huge. And we've had it even on our farm where we go out and try to disc it or field cultivate it, and we don't do a perfect job.
No, you're just going to bend it over and then it's going to come up again. And it's got such a good root on it because it did get a start in the fall last year. It's way ahead of everything else out there. So when we're talking about chemical means of control, it's okay to have some Roundup in the burn down, but add something else in there for some help on these Roundup resistant mare's tail.
Okay, so let's talk about what you should add in there. One of the things, well, actually my favorite thing to throw in would be something like Status or Distinct, even Clarity or Banville. It's all in the dicamba family, and dicamba and 2,4-D are still quite effective on mare's tail. The only problem with dicamba and 2,4-D is you can't use them right ahead of soybeans, and that's where we see probably the most trouble with mare's tail. So if you are talking about soybeans, that's where you've got to throw in something like Valor or Sencor or Authority Assist along with your Roundup to get a better burn down.
Well, I also like Authority First or some First Rate with the Roundup. It's been surprisingly helpful on some of the mare's tail if they're a little bit smaller. Now, I wouldn't say on a 2-foot tall mare's tail you're going to wipe it out, but on a smaller one, the First Rate's been good too. I personally like that Sencor quite a bit. Even the low rates of Sencor seem to have pretty good activity and a little bit of residual on mare's tail.
Now, post-emerge in soybeans, that's where we really run into trouble if you have Roundup resistant mare's tail. We've seen studies where even 2 gallons of Roundup will not kill the mare's tail. So on our farm, we've tried a whole bunch of different products, and where we've had the best success is mixing FlexStar together with Classic. FlexStar and Classic together, and that's where we did probably an 80% job of control on the mare's tail. It wasn't perfect, but it was the best that we found post-emerge in soybeans. You've really got to try to fight this thing pre-emerge if you can get it burned down ahead of planting if at all possible.
Well, with mare's tail, when it's real small, it's often mistaken for kochia, but mare's tail is going to be one tall stem where the kochia will bush out a little bit more. If you've got it, assume that it's Roundup resistant and add a tank mix partner to wipe it out on your farm.
Well, that's all our time for the Weed of the Week, but stay tuned, there's more Ag PhD to come right after this.